doing a little bit of a different video this week with me now kind of dipping in my toes in the sports world as opposed to with my first stream last week. I wanted to do the honest power rankings. I'm sorry, Brandon Perna. I'm not trying to steal your job. I'm here to do more of a power rankings from a Browns fan point of view and try to also see it from a objective point of view. And just give you my thoughts on each NFL team that's going in this week. Because I have the right opinion. And if you think you're right, you're wrong. So, first off, every time I do power rankings, anytime I do any type of rankings, I'm going to start off with one thing. I'm going to start off with the best team and the worst team. And the best team is going to be the Eagles. I think the Eagles are still the best team. They have the least to prove. Their defense has looked a little sus at times with their secondary, especially. It's really young and it looks like it has a lot of flaws in there. But I think it'll develop and get better over time. Jahad Campbell, who fell to the Eagles, and when he fell to the Eagles, I was like, oh, that's a really bad for the league. And I can't believe that he fell out of the top 15. He's looked like a stud so far for the Eagles, and I really do like him for the Eagles. He's looked really good. The offense can do it in multiple ways, as we saw last week. Jalen Hurts can turn it on and throw deep and hit some. I always thought Jalen Hurts had a really nice touch to his ball. I never thought his deep ball never had like a strong arm that could throw like 70 yards off its back foot or anything, but he always looked like he had a nice little float, almost moonballish to it, and it's always pretty decently accurate. So it proved that they can win through Jalen Hurts' arm, and it proved that they can win through Saquon's legs when they need to. Having that ability to win through multiple different ways is invaluable, and having that on your side is something you cannot take away. So I'm very happy with the Eagles this far this year because they are my Super Bowl team. So moving on to the worst team in the league, and I'm gonna have to go with between three teams in my head. This was always the hardest one, and I think the one I'm gonna have to choose is actually the Dolphins. While they may not be the worst, in my opinion, the way they played and the way they lose and how pathetic they look at times, especially that defense, they deserve 32nd place. They deserve it. They deserve it in one bit. This team comes into the year with all this expectation and talent, and they just can't deliver. They can't win games. Their defense is horrendously bad. They might have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, if not the worst. It looks horrible. It looks insanely bad, their defense. It lacks any corner depth. The corners just keep getting injured. Their pass rushers are injured. They have no interior line. They can get ran over. They can get thrown on. Whatever way you want to beat the Dolphins defense is any way you want to beat it. It is bad. And their offense, while it has potential and actually has playmakers, you still have Jalen Waddle. You still have Tyreek Hill. And you still have Devon Achane. But the thing is, it looks like Tua's really regressed after all those injuries. I think that's the problem with Tua right now. He's still coming back from injuries. We'll see if he can reach a better midseason form later on, but he does not look good at this time. So I don't think he's going to get better, really, at least till week 8 maybe, and by then it's probably already too late. And it looks like there's some locker room dysfunctional going on there too. We have him arguing with Tyreek Hill. Who knows what his relationship with Jalen Waddle is? I would assume pretty decent. Devon Achane is probably the most consistent weapon on this offense, and you can only do so much as a running back, I feel like, at times. And he's not Derrick Henry yet. So I just feel like they're the worst team right now. They don't bring you anything. They're just horrible. And I'm going to go to my very first now team. I'm going to go from up and down. The second worst team in the league right now is the Titans. Cam Ward is amazing. I actually really like Cam Ward. As a Browns fan, I was really hoping people would love Shedeur Sanders enough to draft him first and we can get him second. It didn't happen that way. I love Shedeur Sanders too. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be an all right quarterback, but I loved Cam Ward. He took a lot of time in college to look more polished than your average raw quarterback with that athleticism trait. He's looked good in the NFL. But what keeps the Titans down right now is the fact that their defense is not very good, of course. It does not look very good. Especially the secondary, Jeffrey Simmons is still a guy. He's still that dude, but their defense needs a lot of work on it. And more importantly, more than anything else, their O-line sucks, and they might have the worst head coach in the league. Actually, they do have the worst head coach in the league, Brian Callahan. And he sucks so bad that he drags down the whole team. So who knows what the team will look like once he's gone. And I think he's going to be gone before week 6 at this point. He's looked that bad. He does not look like he was made to be a head coach in the NFL. So he just looks really bad. And I do not like Brian Calhoun right at this moment. So now it's on to, I think I can only rank 0-3 teams really first, because they got to win a game before I can really start giving you the benefit of doubt, right? At least in my opinion, you got to win a game before I give you the benefit of doubt. The next one's the Saints. Saints have not been that bad this year. Really surprised. I thought they would be the worst team coming into this year, like most people did. And they really haven't looked that bad. However, they're still not good. Their team is mostly out Kamara. While Spencer Rattler has not been playing bad, he doesn't play to kind of win almost. He just plays checkdowns. He plays save, which is fine if you have a defense, but they don't really have a defense. And it's just, it's a really boring team, to be honest. The Saints are probably the most boring team to talk about. They're just not talented. They don't have much talent. They're working, they're rebuilding. So there's not much to say about them other than, hey, they're rebuilding right now, and we'll see how that goes. And next on the 0-3 teams, let me find them. I think I'm gonna put the Texans. Jesus. The Texans they're bad. They're really, really bad. And I don't think you could win with the Texans O-line right now. The Texans have problems. I've seen people actually call for D'Amico Ryan to be fired, and I don't think that should be. But I know they brought in a new offensive coordinator this year. He might have to go already. He is not playing the strengths to modern NFLs. If you look at their charts and you look at their data, they run no motion and they run no play action, and it's not helping CJ Stroud at all, who has regressed. Maybe he's took definitely a step back. And it's an Ohio State fan because I'm a Cleveland fan. Of course, I want to see CJ Stroud succeed, and I think he could be a good quarterback in the NFL. I just don't think with the system he has right now and the O-line he has right now, you'll be able to win anything with him. They don't run motion. They run long developing routes. They don't run the ball enough because Joe Mixon's out. The O-line cannot protect anything. And notice what I'm saying here, though. It's all on the defense. It's all on the offense. Their defense is a top 5, top 10 defense. And it has 2 premier pass rushers. A breakout middle linebacker who I can't pronounce. Al-Sazir. They have multiple young safeties back there. Drew Patry, how do you say his name? Britchie? I don't remember. And of course, one of the best corners in the NFL, who playing better than the person who was drafted ahead of him, and Derek Stingley Jr. They have a very good team on defense, but they cannot do anything on offense. They don't score touchdowns. They only kick field goals. It's becoming a tragedy to see how that offense plays, and not to see them try anything different. They don't do any short yards or screens or anything. They don't try. They always do intermediate outs, and I feel like if you watch them, CJ Stroud does not trust himself nor his O-line enough to hold up to do something like a intermediate route development. So the way they keep playing, you will not succeed in the NFL, especially with no play action, no motion, no anything. So that's why I think they are a really bad team, and I can't even give them any type of benefit. Dallas 3-0. So now it's on to probably the best 3-0 team in the league right now, and I'm going to say the Jets are the best 3-0 team. I feel like they bring the most to the table. They've proven they've played 2 close games. They got blown out by Buffalo, but Buffalo is kind of the best team in the NFL right now. And you can't really blame them for losing to a team that you can say, hey, they're probably the best team. Oh, I forgot one 0-3 team, actually. My bad. I forgot about the Giants. I completely forgot about the Giants. I'm stupid. I think the Giants are worse than the Saints right now. They had that one good game against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys defense is awful. And I think it just means that goes up here. And the Cowboys defense is awful, and that doesn't prove anything. They didn't come out Thursday night. Jackson Dart starts next week. I do not have high hopes for him. Not because I don't think Jackson Dart would be good. I actually wanted him to fall to the second round for the Browns to draft him. Yeah, I know. I wanted both 2 quarterbacks in this draft. I couldn't get either of them. So, but he's going against the Chargers defense, against Jim Harbaugh's very well coached defense, and I think he's going to look bad next week. Not his fault. He got to go against a very good Chargers defense, but the Giants they have a good pass rush, and I think their secondary is a little weak, but it can benefit from pass rush, and it kind of can cover that up. But they really, really need more offense. Cam Cadaboo seems good. The more I talk, the more I kind of want to rank him higher than actually. You know what?
Music licensing reimagined.
I'm going to rank him higher than the Saints. I think simply because Cam's... I mean, he got Alvin Kamara. That's close. These two are practically equal. Now it's on to the 9 winning teams. I'm on to your 1 and 2 teams and two on your 2 and 1 teams. I think some of them might be a little fraudulent around here. And I think the worst 2 and 1 team, the worst team right now that's not undefeated, man, that's hard. To be honest, after the last one, I think I'm going to go with Raiders, man. Raiders are not good. They won one game. They won opening day against the Patriots. And well, I guess I would have to put the Pats there, and I think I will put the Pats there, yeah. These two teams are practically equal. They played a really close game against each other opening day. But they're both really bad. And both in the same way, too, by the way. They both have they're practically the same team, except switch running back and quarterback. Drake May, I think still looks good. He has his problems still, and you see him throw bad picks and bad reads, but he has a lot of potential. He has great deep balls. He has touch, has mobility. He's making plays. But when you fumble 5 times, you really should be 2 and 1. You should beat the Steelers as the Patriots. And I think their team is developing. It's young. I think we're going to see Trey Henderson actually start playing more, and you're going to see the bench of Rahan Stevenson. But since the Pats did lose the Raiders, even though I think they should be 2 and 1, I think everybody agrees they should be 2 and 1. And if they don't fumble 5 times, you fumble 4 times, you probably win that game. At least don't fumble once in goal line. But I think they are the worst 1 of 2 teams right now. Yes, and I think they're the worst 1 and 2 team. That's bold. And next I have the Raiders. Raiders are bad. They have Max Crosby. Geno Smith does not look good. They have good offensive weapons, it looks like. And Trey Tucker looks actually really good. And I think if you look at, I think we all seen the stat maybe. I don't know if you've seen the stat or not. But Alshon Jeanty has more yards after contact than he has total rushing yards. They have no O-line, the Raiders. They're really bad O-line. They don't have enough receiving talent to cover up Geno Smith. Geno Smith has not looked good this year. So I think you're kind of barking up the wrong tree, because they just don't look good. I don't think there's anything on this team that really gets me excited other than Alshon Jeanty, who I respect trying to win. And that's just how it is. Now, I have a little bit of surprise pick here. I know we see the Panthers, but I actually think the Panthers are better than they look. And you just pitched a shutout, and I have to respect you giving a shutout. And Bryce has looked better these past 2 weeks, and I can't ignore the fact they look better this past 2 weeks. I actually have a 2 and 1 team here. And that's the Bengals after losing Joe Burrow. If they had Joe Burrow, it'd be fine. But we did come out last week, and they put up that tragedy of a game. They do. And it looked bad, too, by the way. It was really bad. And I don't think it's getting a bit better. Jake Browning has always kind of turned the ball over a lot during their wins, but he can always kind of clutch up at the end. And I don't think that's stable. He really should have lost last week too. And this team really, as you look at the Bengals, they're 2 and 1. They could easily be 0 and 3 right now. And this was a flip of a coin. And I don't think they have sustainable winning football right now. And I think that simple fact alone kind of scares me. And they're only going to get worse. Their defense has not, while it looks more opportunistic with turnovers now, and so it has definitely improved with the change of defensive coordinator, I don't think it is improved enough for me to be confident that they can hold out with their offense the way it is right now, which turns the ball over a lot and has no run game. Chase Brown has looked tremendously bad this year, and I just don't think they're going to win much football this year without Joe Burrow on the field. In my personal opinion, they look really, really rough, and I think that alone kind of makes me scared, and I don't think it can get better, even as Ja'Marr Chase can maybe win a game or 2 alone, because that's how good Ja'Marr Chase is. And now I'm going to go to my next 1 and 2 team, and that's the Panthers. Panthers have looked better these past 2 weeks. They still have a decent running back in Hubbard, if I remember correctly. And when we look at these run stats real quick, I think they're still running the ball decently well. And our O-line is actually not that bad. Bryce had looked bad for a game and a half, but now ever since that second half of that Cardinals game, he's looked a lot better. Now, he didn't play a terrific game last week, to be honest, but He really didn't need to with the way they turned the ball over and the way the Atlanta Falcons were paying. It's play your game strength. So Bryce has looked way better. He hasn't turned the ball over last week. He still has a decent bit of mobility. And more importantly, McKillen, I can't say words are hard and names are hard. He's looked like an absolute stud at wide receiver. Yeah, he's been targeted a lot. He hasn't caught a lot of balls, but you see some of the plays he makes and you go, yeah, this guy is a legit #1 receiver. And he's really, I'm feeling a connection between him and Bryce Young will only improve throughout the year. So that alone will really kind of boost them over this team. And their only team I think so far this year a touch shutout, but I can't confirm that because I just can't remember off the top of my head. So they are really good. I think they're only going to get better, really. So that is my next one. My next 1 and 2 team. I think this is where I have to put the Browns. I'm thinking the Browns here, guys. They're my team, but I'm thinking the Browns. But I think the thing is, though, I want to put the Browns, but I think there might be. I think I'm getting a team. Are they worse? Do you think it's better, the Broncos or the Browns? That would be a horrible game to watch, to be honest. I'm gonna make a bold play here. If I'm looking at these teams, I'm looking at which teams would lose against the Browns, or at least the Browns could put a fight against. To be completely honest, I'm gonna put the Cowboys here then. I know this is a very big pull on me to put the Cowboys this low, but their defense might be the worst in the NFL. Scratch that. It is the worst in the NFL. It's not down my mind. It's the worst in the NFL. It is so bad. The Cowboys defense, anybody can move on them from what we've seen. And they have nothing against that. I mean, to prove on. They can't get after passer. Their cornerbacks have regressed. They're injured too. And they have no safety core. And their middle linebacker core is awful. And it's not very well. So they have no linebackers, no pass rush. They can stop them run a little bit, I guess. Not really. They could stop Jalen Hurts and their life dependent on it. So they can't really stop them run that well, I don't think. And their corners have been severely disappointing. You cannot win the shooting out teams. I mean, I've kind of seen that. Because the Bears, with a decent defense, a good defense actually in the Bears, when they were able to slow down the Cowboys, they just got absolutely smothered and destroyed. And I don't think that's the recipe to winning football. I do not. And then after that, I'm going to put the Bears actually right after that too. Come on, team. Actually, I think the Bears go up here. I think so. I think Cowboys go up here too. Oopsie. Not following my list here. I'm probably wrong. I don't really care that much, to be honest. I'm probably just going to put 5 teams per row. Well, I think you're supposed to put 2 down here. Yeah, I'm going to put 2 down here. And now I'm going to do this. Yep. I'm even doing this mid-video. Bears are bad. Bears they've had a very great game last week, but I don't know if that's really a symptom of how the Bears are going to be all this year, or a symptom of going against the Cowboys defense. I hope so. I actually like Caleb Williams a lot. I love Roman Doomsday. I hope they continue to improve and continue to impress me, but I don't know if they can win sustainable football the way they are right now. And I just think going against the Cowboys defense does not make me a hopeful in that, you know? So we'll see how it continues and how it goes and how everything goes. I want to see them. I just want them to prove a little bit more to me through consistency on both sides of the ball and really the offensive side of the ball, because that's what I want to see more out of. And that's really why I need. That's just what I think of this team right now. Anyways, on to our next really bad team, or next kind of fraudulent team, I guess. I think if I had to go here, this is where I'd probably put either the Browns or the Broncos. And I think I might put the Broncos for now. That's tough. I just think the Browns are the best defense. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to do both. I'm going to cover both the Browns and the Broncos here. I'm going to go up here. The reason I think they're neck and neck like that is simply because they both have very severely disappointing offense. And while I think the Broncos move a little bit easier in offense, we'll see Quinton Junkins look good. And I think the Browns after this week will switch different starting quarterbacks, because I think they'll realize Joe Flacco is not meant to start anymore in the NFL. But that's a story for another day. I just think the Browns have more talent on offense. I think Jerry Jeudy's better than Courtland Sutton, or at least they're same tier. Courtland Sutton definitely has better hands, but Jerry Jeudy's a better route runner. It's kind of neck and neck. Cedric Tillman's look really good this year, but what really sets over the edge for me is Quinton Junkins look like that dude. He looks a lot more. He gets the ball a lot more also to prove it. So he just looked better than RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins right now. And more importantly, the wide receiver room not wide receiver. The tight end room is so much better for the Browns. Bannon is a beast. David Njoku is a rack god. And they kind of push me over the edge. They both, Bo Nix has not looked good. I do think the Broncos line is way better than the Browns, but I think the overarching skills of the Browns skill players kind of push that over the edge, even though it's not by much. I also just think the Browns have a better defense this year. We've seen few teams kind of move on the Broncos a lot easier this year, while the Broncos have a very nice pass rush. We've seen the middle linebacking and safety core kind of take a step back from where we thought they would be. While the Browns defense has been solid all right around, stops run, stops anything. They only had really one bad half against the Ravens, and that was more because our offense plays no complementary football, and it kind of screws over our defense because eventually your defense is going to give out there. So I do think that the Broncos and the Browns are practically the same team, really. One has a slightly better offense, one has a slightly better defense. And I think if they went against each other, you would see an absolute tragedy of a game. And speaking of which, I'm putting the Steelers here. I don't like the Steelers this year. They've looked really bad at times. And you look at all these teams that are left, and I do not see a team here that Steelers could really beat. Maybe the Falcons, but we'll get to them in a second. And the Steelers do not look good this year. They kind of, all their wins kind of feel a little bit more fluky than anything where you get like a lucky break on a turnover, which you could say is a skill to them. I do not think that's going to transfer or keep going every week. You can't really rely off getting lucky breaks. And you can't rely on the Patriots fumbling 5 times. You can't rely off a kick returner, punt returner, fumbling the ball like they did. All right. And then they absolutely got dismantled by Seattle. They couldn't stop the run. The Steelers defense is old, and it really has shown it this year with the Steelers defense being that old. It's really shown that they just can't stop the run, and their pass defenses look good either. And they keep getting more and more injured. So they're old and injured, and they can't do anything. And the offense, ever since that week 1 against the Jets, they have not looked good. Aaron Rodgers has not looked exactly the same after that rage has left his body against the Jets. So ever since they left the body, ever since they stopped playing the Jets, who also have a really bad defense, that you just can't put it there. Did I even talk about the Jets? I don't care to talk about the Jets. The Jets are not good, by the way, they need Justin Fields to be a god for them to slightly succeed, and that's not going to happen. And their defense is terrible. Bang, there's my opinion on the Jets. I just realized I never talked about them. They're not good. But the Steelers have not looked good. I think they're not going to get 9-8 this year, unless they luck into it. But I think you're going to see them kind of go on a little bit of a losing streak here, because I don't think they can consistently win football games like they're playing, because they're not going to get the Jets every week. And they have a decently tough schedule in the AFC North, where teams play really good on defense against each other. Keyword against each other, not against other non-divisional opponents. And then after that, now we have starting the end of our 1 and 2 teams, really, based on what I'm seeing here. There might be one I'm missing. I apologize if there is. And that is the Falcons. I think they are better than a lot of teams. They just got shut out. I think that is a anomaly. I am very high on them this year, so I'm a little biased here. But I think Michael Penix is a good quarterback. I know he looked really, really bad last week, but it was more of a necessary thing than anything else. But I think he looks going to be a good quarterback. Bijan Robinson is really good. I still like Drake London. He's really good. Kyle Pitts has looked better this year. Not like the thing we thought he would be, but he's looked a lot better this year. And their defense has looked a lot better this year. They went up 30 points last week. That was more because of the turnovers than it was anything on them. They look young, fresh. They play very opportunistic. They fly all over the field. That's something you want to see when you're having a young defense out there. And having that on your side is something you cannot just ignore on the part of the Falcons. Watts look really good. Walker's look really good. JPJ, he's not come along yet, but he's just a rookie, and you gotta let that happen. Their pass rush is getting after teams. It is a very unique team. I think they're gonna be very good this year. I think they have a chance to win the division if it wasn't for the fact that the Buccaneers are playing so good. But the Buccaneers, we'll get to them in a second. All right. So now it's on to really our 2-1 teams, and who do I think is the worst out of these teams? And that's easy to me. It's the Cardinals. They're 2-1, but to be honest, I don't even feel right putting them over the Falcons. They've looked really fraudulent. They look kind of fluky in every win. They kind of look like the Steelers, but without the defense, and more just kind of they can win on offense a little bit because Kyle Murray has some magic in him sometimes. Marvin Harrison, who I love, has not looked good, with the drops being so prevalent in his game. So when your quarterback, when you're throwing drops the whole game and you're not doing anything like that, I just can't really talk about them. They haven't really impressed me at all, really. I'm only putting them here because they keep winning and they keep having tight games and they're not really losing games. So, and I really still want to get to 49ers if Marvin Harrison has a slightly better game. That's the honest truth. But we'll get to them in a second. All right. But there's not really much to say about them because they just look not that great this year. Not that great. On to our next team. I'm going to go Minnesota. Minnesota has 2 wins on the year. And I kind of don't even feel right putting them up this high. They're the same thing as the Cardinals. And these are the teams that are winning and they haven't really played to lose. But they looked really good last week. Their defense is still legit. Brian Flores is still that guy. And I still really think he's good. Dallas Turner has taken a step up this year. There's a little bit of a step up. Not a same year just yet. But we'll see. He can still hide. All his defenses, Brian Flores, all his defensive packages and zone packages and all his stuff he does, he hides it really well. So we were still having a very good wide receiver here. A defensive coordinator here in Brian Flores. The offense looked way more functional under Carson Wentz, and that is concerning when you're as a Viking fan because you really want JJ McCarthy to be that guy. I don't think he will be. I think you probably will start Carson Wentz sometime later this year. They need more short intermittent passes. JJ wants to throw it deep. He wants a challenge. He wants to do all this. And I do still have concern about the running game, even though Madison just had a really good week last week. But I do not think he's going to have the same result every week or nearly the same result. So they're still a very good defense, and I think they have a functional offense. When you have Justin Jefferson on your team, that automatically makes you a good team. And you getting Addison back, which will make you better. So I think they are still a decent team here. And next is going to be the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2-1. They have not looked good, really. Other than their defense looks solid, and it's like a cock tease almost with the Jags. They look like they're on the brink of something excellent, but there's just something missing. Trevor Lawrence being still turnover happy, Brian Thomas Jr. just not looking like that guy right now, which is very disappointing for me because I thought he would. But Travis Hunter's looks solid. I know some people try to shit on him, but if you watch the games, he looks good. He looks solid. He's playing both sides of the ball like we thought he would. He's not nearly playing as much as, of course, in college, but you can't do that. So you're kind of expecting too much out of him. But so far, it's been very good. I think they have young talent. I think Travis Etienne is still good. They're just a team that I feel like it's on the brink of something good. They just haven't reached that yet. We'll see if they can really under Cohen they can reach that potential. I think they can. And next, I actually have a 3-0 team here before I get to these 2 teams right here. And that's the 49ers. They can be a really good team. They're just injured. That's just 49ers injured. They're just getting more and more injured as the year goes on. And I don't think it's going to stop because I don't know what deal the devil Kyle Shanahan made in past life, but his teams always just get absolutely obliterated. So it's quite the unfortunate circumstance we got going on there. I just realized I didn't do this again. I'm so bad at this. So now I kind of can get to the other teams that I want to talk about. Next is Washington. Washington is they're just missing Jayden Daniels. And they're still a good team. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. Their defense is opportunistic and get after passer. Defense is probably still the biggest question mark, but it really hasn't proven anything. It's really the pass side. They need to fix the pass defense. Marshawn Lattimore has been a bust of a trade so far, and you're seeing why he got traded in the first place. We'll see if they can improve during the year, but it just needs to show a little bit more, I think, and show because they got absolutely torched by the Packers. It was not great. So, anyways, now it's actually a little bit surprised. I know there's still 1 and 2 teams on here, but the Seahawks are here. They've won the games that are in front of them. That's the thing. They won the games in front of them. They beat the Saints and beat the Steelers, who I'm very low on, and they beat them handily, which is probably to say. But they lost week 1 against the 49ers, and I thought that was a very easy game. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback now. I can admit that he is a good quarterback. I think we could comfortably say that he's a good quarterback, but he might be in that zone where he's a good quarterback, but he would never make you win deep down in the playoffs or really win playoff games or any type of Super Bowls. I don't think he's that guy. But their team is young. JSN is a beast. They have a rookie. I can't remember his name. Falcon? I don't remember. Like Cohen, something like that. That's really good. Kenneth Walker's really good. Their O-line is really looking better this year. Defense, you still have Devon Witherspoon, who was injured last week, but that was fine. I still like Tweak Woolen. I know he had a bad week. Kobe Bryant's not bad. Mafe is a decent pass rusher. They're getting pass rush interior. They're getting decent pass rush, actually, from their guys. So they're definitely a up in team that I think is that the more that you're going on, definitely can crack this top 10 now. But now it's on to our top 10 list. And this is where I'll put the Ravens, actually. The Ravens look like a top 5 team. But the hater in me is saying they're not a top 5 team, to be honest. You got to be able to close out games. Ravens can never close out games. And they are just not well coached at the end of games. They keep fumbling. They couldn't beat the Lions in a shootout. Their defense, pass defense specifically, looks horrendously bad this year, and they cannot stop a breeze. The run defense looks good, though, luckily. Kinda. But not really. They got torched by David Montgomery a lot. They got torched in everywhere. They just didn't look good. The defense doesn't look good. The offense still looks fine, but Derrick Henry has had a little bit of a fumbling problem this year. I do not think that's going to be a trend with Derrick Henry. I don't think we're going to see him have fumbleitis all year, but it's worth noting because that is what we're talking about. And when we're talking about a team, you got to mention these things. So maybe they can start improving. Maybe they cannot. We'll see. But I hope they can. Really, because they are a fun team to watch. They just got to prove that they can close out games and really play a full game. They have not proven they can play a full game other than against the Browns, who can't move the offensive ball if they wanted to do anything. So now it's on to, I think it's Kansas City. Kansas City will become a top 5 team at the end of the year, but their offense, it looks bad. Their running game does not look great. It still looks like Patrick Mahomes' show. Fortin is their only receiver that can have any consistency right now. I mean it. Marquise Brown has not looked great. Neither has Travis Kelce. So they're relying off Fortin and a dead running game. And it does not look good. I think once we get later in the year, maybe your offensive line can develop. Josh Simmons has looked like the left tackle we needed for the Patrick Mahomes. So I feel like this team is literally just get healthy. Defense looks good. Defense got back to form after week 1. They're good now. But just get healthy. That's the main thing. And, well, really get past the suspension. So now it's on to, man, I think it's on to the Rams. These next two teams are just really good. Rams are good. That's all I can say about them. They're just really good. Matthew Stafford looks good. Devontae Adams has returned to form. Puka Nacua is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Kyle Williams is a true bell cow. Even though he doesn't get a ton of yards per carry, he just parries the rock, gets stronger as the game goes on, doesn't get tired. Decent O-line. Good pass rush defense. Their secondary is a little weak, but it gets made up for the fact that they have a hell of a pass rush and they can just get to you in 2 seconds or less. So they're just a really good team, and they should beat the Eagles. They just collapsed, and that's why they're so low, and that's why the Eagles are so high still. So on to the next team, I think. I'm going to put Detroit here. No. I'm going to put the Colts. I'm going to put the Colts. Colts have looked good in every game. They're 3-0. They haven't gone against, I think, a good team yet, though, to really make me go that. They beat the Titans, Broncos, and Dolphins. They're all low. 2 of them are the worst teams in the NFL. You cannot tell me you're a good team. But I think Daniel Jones has looked really good. Jonathan Taylor has returned back to that maybe 2,000-yard rusher that I think he can be. The wide receiver unit has really come with Alex Pierce coming along really well. Pickman's still really good. And the O-line's still really good. And the defense has looked amazing. They have a really opportunistic defense that I think has looked really good. But they got to prove it to me. It's a true test this week. And if I remember correctly, who are they going? I know it's a true test. I remember it being like, oh, that's going to really prove it to me. Let me find that out. The Rams. These two can flip-flop pretty much. And I think they're really even. I actually think the Rams will win it, but I cannot rank them higher because they're not 3-0. I mean, that's the simple fact of the matter. And Rams lost to humiliating fashion, and that kind of put my doubt because I think now it puts it down in my mind that they can close out a game like that. Now onto these teams. All of them look really good, but I think the worst one of all is the Buccaneers. They're just injured, man. They find ways to win, which can be always commendable. They have a great rookie in Ibuka, but they're just injured, especially on the wide receiver side and the offensive side. The O-line and wide receiver unit has been ravaged. They can get healthy. They'll be fine. I think they'll look even better as the year goes on. I think this division's locked down. Even though I thought it'd be the Falcons division, the Buccaneers have just proved me wrong. But they need to get healthy on the offensive side of the ball. So now I've gone to the 5th best team, and I think I'm putting it as Detroit. Detroit defense has had problems this year. There's been showing 30 points the Ravens scored on. One was a garbage time touchdown granted with the Ravens, but they had not looked good on defense. They did look good against the Bears after the design Ben Johnson drive stop, and then Caleb got to throw the ball into the air and hit nothing. But I don't think I can believe in their defense because Terran Arnold has not looked good. He is burnt toast. They've given human form. So we need to see more other defense. The running game has actually not been. I know David Montgomery had a really good night, but Jahmyr Gibbs has had 3 bad games in a row. Where I don't think I know he had 2 yards to carry last night, 2 yards against the Packers. I don't remember what he had against the Bears. But he needs to step up, and it's really scaring me, that run game. I don't think you're going to have David Montgomery not just lobbing off those wrong runs. That's the wrong runs again. So that's truly it. And now here's for no surprising pick so far. I'm putting the Bills at 4. I know that's a really surprising pick because I think people have Bills at 1, and they've looked really good. And Josh Allen is amazing, and he's by far the best, funnest quarterback to watch in the whole NFL. But their defense is, Joey Bosa has looked really good this year, but I don't believe in that cornerback unit. I think they're still very young, and I think the wide receiver unit, it gets covered up so much by Josh Allen being able to just make it where he can buy them an extra 4 to 3 seconds where they can just kind of playgrounding it. I don't think that wide receiver unit is that great. Even with Coleman looking like he took a leap and Sakir being a very good wide receiver. I just don't think it's better than these upcoming teams. Next is the Packers. I know that we should put them. People are going to be mad that I'm not putting them, the Bills are not above the Packers, or even the Lions are not above the Packers after that collapse. But I think that was just like a kryptonite matchup, a trap game. Their defense is maybe the second best or the best in the NFL. I think Jordan Love is one of my MVP picks, even after that bad game. I think you're only going to see him get better when Reed comes back and Matthew Golden develops and Christian Watson comes back. They are not at full health, that wide receiver unit. People forget that. They are not. And they really are going to get really as the better the year goes on, and you're going to see some big gains from Jordan Love. And I think Josh Jacobs is going to look better. And their O-line needs to come back together. Zach Thomas very much missed. They're very injured on the O-line, and they're very injured in the wide receiver unit. And people kind of just press that under the rug because Micah Parsons trade and how good the defense is, and you lost to the Browns, who I think people make the Browns sound worse than they are because the Browns should be 2-1. I think that if you look at those games, they should be 2-1. And next, I have the Chargers, the second best team. Justin Herbert's the MVP so far. He is. Over to maybe Baker Mayfield. Justin Herbert's the MVP. There's no denying it right now. He's looked amazing. He wins them games. He's won them all games so far. He's won them all the games so far. By himself, pretty much. Not by himself, but he's the reason they're winning games. And their defense is still a top 5 unit. And Quentin Johnson's took the leap. He's developed hands. It's over. Keenan Allen looks back to form. When Ladd McConkey, who we thought was going to be the guy, it's been sent to the shadow realms because he just can't find a spot in this unit. That proves to me that he is not, that this team is ready. And Omarion Hampton, I know they got lost Najee, but I think Omarion Hampton will only get better for the year because I think that's just how rookies are. I know the O-line's concerned. I think it'll be fine. You're not going against the Broncos every week. Broncos have one of the best pass rushing units in the NFL. I think they're going to be a very good team. I think there's a good chance that by the end of week 6, they have overtaken the Eagles as the best team because they look that good. And I really do believe in them. So, there is our tier list made officially. I know there's a lot of really kind of weird picks in there with the Browns being so high. Packers over Bills after that last week. And 1 and 2 teams in the top 10. I don't care. Now it's on to the next part of this video. And that is simply pick'ems. We're going to go do some pick'ems. All right, we're here to pick'ems. Here we are. Are you ready? Let's see who we can win. Seattle, I think, is going to win this game against Cardinals. It's going to be a close game. This is going to be a close game. This is a hard one. I'm going to go Minnesota. I feel like I'm a bold here. Jane Daniels coming off that injury. I have problems. I think Atlanta's going to be very pissed the way they lost. I'm going Atlanta. I think Atlanta will come out, get Jane Daniels. We're going to sack him at least 3 times. I think Penix is going to really look good in this game. And I think we're going to see 1% picked. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, I'm going to go the Saints. Oh, no, I'm going to go Bills. What am I talking about? I'm joking. Do I need to say anything? It's Bills against Saints. Browns versus Detroit. I'm always going to go to Browns. That's my team. Or not win that game. I'm going Carolina. I don't know why so many people are picking Patriots. I think Carolina's looked really good these past 2 weeks. And I think there's no way that they win that. This one's the Chargers. It's the Giants. It's starting a rookie, and he's gonna look real bad against that team. This is a good game. I think they're too injured, the Buccaneers, to go against this Eagles team. I think they're just too injured. Texans, Titans. I'm going Titans, dude. I don't believe in this Texans team. I think the Texans, this is the week that somebody gets fired because they're gonna lose to Titans. I know that I said that Texans have a really good defense. I don't know if they can score points. I don't know if they can. Colts versus Rams. I'm going Rams. I know I ranked the Colts above the Rams, but I know a lot of these things going, well, didn't you pick them up? I did, but that's just this is more gut feeling now. There's just like something about these teams. Jacksonville versus 49ers. I don't know why so many people pick 49ers. I'm picking Jacksonville. 49ers are just getting injured and injured and injured. Wow. I'm going Kansas City. Ravens are not good against Kansas City. They're really not. I know that's really injured. They're going to be close. It's going to be a defensive battle. Thing is, Patrick Mahomes, I feel like Tyreek Ford is going to have 150 yards against this Ravens defense. And I think that team is just a lot better. Yeah, it's Chicago. Raiders just don't have anything impressive with them. I think this one is the Packers. I think Micah Parsons has 2 sacks. That's all I'll say. That's going to be a fun game to watch. This one's going to be... I'm going to go Jets. I know they might not have Justin Fields. I don't believe in the Dolphins, man. Dolphins don't look good. They've been competitive, I guess, but like, man, I don't believe in them. I really don't. By the way, what an awful Monday night matchup. Bengals versus Broncos. I'm giving it to Broncos because no Joe Burrow. How many total points we scored it? Maybe at most 30, dude. No. I'm going to 24. 10-14. Those are my picks for this week, guys. I can't cut that. I don't have any. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. A little bit different. More of a tier list and ranking video. But I hope you enjoyed some of this football discussion I had with you. Disagree with me. Tell me you hate me for my picks. I love to hear it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.